belated birthday research study session. 2 years ago, I developed enough Persona 4 brain rot to make this video, and I never imagined I'd still be doing it with a dedicated audience still watching me. Time flies when you're having fun, huh? I originally was going to celebrate with the creator commentary, and I even made a whole thumbnail for it and everything. But after spending a couple days on it, by the time I was done, I realized it was just 40 minutes of me going. It was bad, trust me. So against my better judgment and overwhelming anxiety, I decided to celebrate with this Q&A instead. And I'm actually a little surprised by the amount of questions I received, so let's stop wasting time and get right into it. It's been 2 years? Yes. What's the time frame of the P4 videos? The game takes place in 2011, yet Barbenheimer, Among Us, and modern-day smartphones are all referenced. Is it a modern take on the Persona 4 timeline, or is it... Wobbly, wiggly, wobbly, wiggly. Yes. No, but in all seriousness, yes, I write all my stories with the mindset that it takes place in modern times. I feel I'm able to have more creative freedom with the narratives this way, instead of trying to limit myself to what was happening in the set years of P3 and 4. Following up this question, are all your videos going to take place in the same timeline/universe, or will there be videos that are in a separate timeline/universe? In terms of continuity, I do try to build on previous events that have happened in my stories, but I also try to make them ambiguous enough that it feels like it could have happened anywhere in the original game's timelines. That's why I usually try to avoid mentioning specific dates and seasons. Outliers like Your Choice can be viewed as a separate timeline though, since it was sort of just a retelling of what happened during the answer with my own twist. But eventually I do want to try writing in certain arena characters, but we'll see when the time comes. Does Juness still sell sombreros? You already know the answer to this. The Enema Fiesta don't stop, baby! Which story was your favorite to make? GA's confession. Not only did I get my OTP together, but the final result exceeded my expectations in almost every way. I still like to go back and rewatch the ending scene from time to time. Following up on this question, why pair you and GA specifically? Because tomboy supremacy. Nah, but in all seriousness. What drew me to her when I first played the game was how fucking hilarious she was. I love girls that can make me laugh.
And you were all, Yukiko-san inside that place?
And then once I got to know her better, I really started to admire her morals and saw elements of myself within her. I've said it previously in a post a few days after GA's confession dropped, but I seriously relate to how insecure she feels about herself. Her appearance, her contribution to the team, her femininity, masculinity in my case. And what's so inspiring is that she doesn't let those feelings weigh her down. She uses them to propel herself forward. That's why she trains, that's why she vows to protect the weak. That's why she constantly tries to better herself as a fighter and a person. She has a constant drive for self-improvement, and in those ways, I aspire to be more like her. What was your favorite joke across any of your released videos? Probably all the news reports. My personal favorite is the Words Have Power one where Marie first summons the rain cloud over Norikami. That was actually the first scene I thought of that inspired me to write that entire story in the first place. Honorable mention Karamaru's button. Oh no! Out of the Persona characters you've used, who has the most hours in Halo 3? Makoto. He did try to save his Xbox that time his room became a zoo exhibit. Do you plan on making videos like the Persona ones but for other series and games? If so, which ones? I have thought of dabbling in metaphor stories, but I don't feel I have a good enough grasp of the world and characters yet. Probably gonna play through it again before I try anything. So how exactly did you get the idea to start making your own Persona stories? Playing Persona 4 Arena. That's literally it. I actually mentioned this in my 1K subs video. When I got through all the vanilla stories before Ultimax, seeing that they made visual novel backgrounds for different places in Inaba ignited the spark for me to try writing again. Originally, Research Study Session was going to be a one and done, but after the overnight success of it, we see how that turned out. Do you have any favorite non-Persona Atlas games? Pretty sure the only other Atlas game I played outside of Persona was Metaphor, which is a phenomenal game, so I guess I'll just say that for now. I am aware of some of their other titles like Soul Hackers 2, SMT5, and the recent Rydog remaster. I'm also interested in checking out Catherine Fullbody at some point. So if I find myself in another dry season with games, I'll definitely consider buying one of those. Are there any jokes you had to cut/wish you added to any of the stories you released? This isn't really a joke, more of an entire tone change for a story. So when I originally wrote Club Velvet, it was actually going to be a lot more mean-spirited towards Lavenza. It was basically her versus everybody. Elizabeth knew exactly what she was doing throwing the party in her room to avoid Igor's wrath. And at the end of the story, I didn't plan for a wholesome resolution between the siblings at all. The original plan was, after all the personas get sucked back up into the compendium, Lavenza immediately boots him out the door, and before Margaret leaves, Lavenza was going to say something like, "The trickster saved me yet again. I'm so glad our theory worked." Then Margaret was going to say, "It didn't actually." "What?" "I just kept track of which personas they were targeting and recalled them myself. Your guess efforts weren't actually doing anything. It was cute seeing your reaction, though." And then she leaves. Obviously, this didn't make the final cut because when I got to the final club scene, I realized how one-sided everything felt against Lavenza. And once I discovered the new direction I wanted to take the story, I went back and started adding signs that Elizabeth had a genuine desire to grow closer to her. And then I ended things off with the heart-to-hearts between Margaret and Elizabeth, and I was much more satisfied with the final script after that. And I'm very happy you guys seem to have enjoyed it too. What does your creative process look like? Script writing, editing, etc. And how long does it usually take to make a single video? When I think of an idea that sounds good, I write it down in the notes app on my phone, sometimes with bullet points of things that I want to happen. I usually decide what to write next when one particular idea sits in my head for way too long, and inspiration hits at any time. So whenever I find the time and motivation, I go to Google Docs and start writing the story like normal. How much I implement into the script determines how long it takes to make. For example, slapstick stories like That's Orise and Club Velvet normally take an entire month because of all the visual gags and special effects, while more grounded stories like Nanako's Bully and Your Choice may take a little over 2 weeks. Okay, these next two questions I'm just going to answer in the same segment because they were pretty related to each other. First question, are there any ships besides UX Chie or UX Rise that you're interested in? And second question, what is your favorite ship from each Persona game? Okay, to the first question, I actually find it a bit funny you mentioned UX Rise because I actually don't really ship them together. It was just easy to form a love triangle between them and Chie since Atlas kind of pushes Rise towards you in the game. And the fact that she's the personification of thirsty. Now to answer the question, I'm not going to reveal every ship I plan to implement into these videos, but from the ones I've released so far, here's all the ones I either flat out confirmed or hinted at.
Sorry. We gonna be all right. No, y'all ain't. We gonna be all right. Next year. Y'all ain't gonna be all right this year.
For the second question, which ones are my favorite? These three. And now I'm going to go hide in the trenches. Have you ever thought of having voice actors dub your videos? Quite a few people have asked me this, and the truth is I just don't have the time, money, or energy to cast people for these. I like making the stories when I want, with the characters I want, on the timing I want. I don't want to have to worry about scheduling auditions and recordings and all that other shit. Some did suggest using social link lines, which I experimented with in the invitation, but I didn't move forward with it, and you can watch that video for the explanation why. Now, if you and your buddies feel like dubbing certain scenes on your own time for fun, hey, that'd be cool, go for it. Just be sure to link the original video. But as for me personally, I'm just gonna keep doing what I've been doing. Is it okay to make fan art based on / inspired by the scenes in your videos? With you credited, of course. Absolutely. It would seriously make my day. Off topic, I should really try to get back into drawing again. I was doing good for a while, then I fell off of it. I need to get back on that. Okay, that wasn't too bad. I had serious anxiety announcing that Q&A, especially after the creator commentary failed. But as usual, I had nothing to worry about. Thanks to everyone that asked the question, and I'm sorry if yours didn't get answered. I either didn't have an answer for it, or you asked a question about future plans, and those were the questions I was trying to avoid. I just can't believe I've been going on for this long. I can't believe there are still people sticking around to watch my stuff, or just now finding me. It's a little, well, no, it's very nerve-wracking at times, but I'll continue to do my best. There's still a lot of ideas I want to try. But for right now, after releasing a new video last week, wasting my time on a failed creator commentary, and pulling this Q&A out of my ass, I'm starting to feel the burn. So, thanks for watching and for your support. P3 video next, and I'm off to play Donkey Kong. See you in a couple months, maybe.
Bye, have a beautiful time.